NHL regular season recap, night 56. We got a handful of games tonight. You know we got to start it in the car with the crappy lighting. The Rangers taking on the Ottawa Senators in this one, and the Sens were sick and tired of all the crap going around about their team, and they took care of business tonight, snapping a Rangers 3-game winning streak. 2 goals from each of Brady Tkachuk and Vlad Tarasenko, as well as 1 from Batherson and Claude Giroux. Anton Forsberg was really good in this one. Ends up being a 6-2 final in favor of the Senators over the Rangers. The Red Wings taking on the Sabres, and a hot start from the Wings carried them to victory tonight. Goals from Larkin, Fabry, Seider, and Rasmussen made it 4-0 about halfway through the second before the Sabres finally decided to turn their offense on when Rasmus Dahlin got 1 goal in the second. In the third period, Middlestat and Skinner scored as well to make it a 1-goal game, but it was too little too late. Dylan Larkin scores his second of the game with the net empty to make it a 5-3 final in favor of the Wings. The Kings taking on the Blue Jackets, and I was so ready to get to speak highly about this Blue Jackets team, but they completely folded this game in and threw it away. They opened pretty well. Marchenko with a goal in the first on the power play, and then in the second, Gaudreau and Olivier made it a 3-0 game. That's how the second period would end. In the third, though, Philip Deneau with 2 goals and a goal from Arthur Kaliev tie the game, all within the first 7 minutes of the third period. No more goals in the third, and then in overtime, Drew Doughty is the hero. The Kings come all the way back from 3-0 down to start the third period to win this one 4-3 in overtime. Elvis was once again pretty good in this one, stopping 35 of 39. Phoenix Copley had a rough first couple periods. None of these goals were all that great, but he stops 26 of 29 in the winning effort. And what's just a tough loss for the Blue Jackets. You like getting the 1 point, but ideally you really want to here. The San Jose Sharks visiting the New York Islanders, and real quick, can you tell me what the most dangerous lead in hockey is?
4-1.
4-1. That's exactly how much the Islanders led by with just 8 minutes to play in the third before San Jose scored 3 unanswered. Yes, San Jose scored 3 unanswered in the third period, a Tomas Hertl hat trick to force overtime. And in the overtime, with just 5 seconds to play, William Eklund scores the overtime game-winning goal. Just shambles from the Islanders. I mean, this cannot happen against San Jose, but here we are, a 5-4 overtime win for the Sharks off the back of a Tomas Hertl hat trick. What a world we live in. The Predators taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, and as you might expect, this game really wasn't all that exciting. Nick Foligno with 2 goals, Ryan O'Reilly with a goal. Ends up dragging on to a shootout where Philip Forsberg scores the game winner. Arvid Soderblom goes 0 for 3 there. Bedard scored in the shootout, so if you're a Hawks fan, at least you got that going for you. The goaltending was kind of mediocre. Saros stops 25 of 28, good for an 893. Soderblom in regulation and overtime was pretty good. He stopped 27 of 30 for a 900, but again, 0 for 3 in the shootout. Not really too much else going on in this game. It's a 4-3 shootout win for the Preds, who continue to try to slowly climb their way back up the Central Division standings. For the Blackhawks, they kind of are what they are at this point. I don't expect them to get out of this 8th spot unless we see a monumental collapse from one of Arizona, St. Louis, or Nashville. The Avalanche with the potential for a revenge game against the Anaheim Ducks, and that is exactly what happened tonight. A goal in each of the 3 periods from the Avs. Curtis McDermott, surprisingly, and then Nathan McKinnon and Logan O'Connor in the first, second, and third period, respectively. The Ducks did try to make it interesting in the third, scoring 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. Sam Carrick and Leo Carlson there. 1 shorthanded, 1 on the power play, interestingly enough, but just not quite enough to get the W here. Alex Georgiev was pretty good, stopping 31 of 33. John Gibson stopping 27 of 30. Most impressive in this game for the Ducks, at least, was Leo Carlson. He continues to be really, really good, and from the eye test, you can make the argument he's playing just as good, if not better, than Connor Bedard, but maybe that's just me. Nonetheless, a 3-2 win for the Avalanche in this one. The Wild taking on the Calgary Flames, and once again, the Wild continue to roll on after the hiring of Coach John Hines, while the Calgary Flames, with a bit of a return to their early season form, they didn't look great in this one. It wasn't a bad effort. The play all around was pretty even, but the scoreboard dictates a very different game. 3 for 3 of the first goals came from Minnesota. Foligno, Kaprizov, and Boldy. Backlund made it a 3-1 game before Boldy got his second, a beautiful deflection past Dustin Wolf, by the way. Connor Zary would make it a 4-2 game in the third pretty early on, but then Joel Eriksson with his 12th of the year made it 5-2, and that would be how the score sat. Gustafsson was just the better of the goalies tonight, though kind of hard to blame Dustin Wolf, who came on in relief of Dan Vladar, who stopped 13 of 16. Wolf gave up 2 shots on the remaining wild shots and looked pretty good, in the ones he stopped. Again, the Boldy goal was just a beautiful deflection, and on the Joel Eriksson at goal, Nazem Kadri bowled him over and made it pretty impossible to play goalie. So, not a bad performance from Dustin Wolf, who was recalled in Jacob Markstrom's absence, but all in all, not a great effort from the Flames, who struggled a bit and go back to the losing side of the score sheet, a 5-2 win for Minnesota. The final game of the night, the New Jersey Devils taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the battle of the Hughes brothers, and this one did not disappoint. 6 goals in the first period alone. Jesper Bratt, JT Miller, Eric Holla, Jack Hughes, Michael McLeod, and Dakota Joshua. The Devils come out of the first on top 4-2. In the second period, the lone goal scored by Luke Hughes. This one ended up being the true difference maker in the game because in the third period, the Canucks scored 3 unanswered to tie it. Brock Besser, Sam Lafferty, and Niels Höglander are all about 10 minutes apart. And then with just 34 seconds left, a heartbreaker for Canucks fans. Jesper Bratt scores off a rebound from Demko, assisted by Ball and Nico Hischier, and that would be your game winner. Neither goalie was great in this one. Obviously, a 6-5 game is usually a sight for sore eyes if you're a goalie fan. Demko stopping 26 of 32. Vanacek stopping 28 of 33. So neither playing great, but a wildly entertaining game. Hopefully a lot of you guys got to tune into this one, but that was it for NHL regular season recap night 55. I don't know if any of the games tomorrow are going to top it, but there are a couple good ones, so we will talk to you guys then.